Cool, so we can start with designing our app first. So I'll go into design tab. And we need inputs from two numbers, right? One number here. I'll take another number here. So right now it tells, like if you hover over the stop icon or exclamation, whatever, it tells you that you are missing the constraints. We'll do it after some time. So we are taking inputs from two numbers. And now buttons, right? So I want a button here, calculate. I will make it a bit bigger. And I need the result in text view. I'll drag and drop it here. Also, 3 of them. Now I need to change something in the code. There are two ways to do it, right? You could just go by attributes. You could just go in the code. Code makes it a lot easier, so I will go with that. Split. And here, so first edit text. I want to change the ID so it makes it easy to remember. Let's say mass, right? Mass. So user inputs mass. And the second edit text will be acceleration. So now ID is something that you can choose whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Now button would be button could be button. Yeah, that's fine. Button, you can leave it like that. Edit text view. This is the result, right? So we changed all the IDs. Now we want to add some hint inside. So go inside the first edit text. And it's going to be a hint. After you type hint, it will show you Android hint, right? Hint would be enter the mass in kg. Something like that. I want to give some hint for the second thing as well. Enter the mass, acceleration. Done, both the hints are done. I want the button to read calculate. Calculate force. Cool. And that should be it for the UI part at least. Cool. So enter the mass in kg, enter the acceleration. Done. So if we were to leave it as it is, everything would be stacked on top of each other because you haven't assigned constraints to it. Hover over the exclamation mark. It tells you that you are missing constraints, right? So we need to assign constraints. So let's select all of it: mass, acceleration, button, and result. And use the magic button so it allows us to, it puts the constraint for you guys. That's it. The UI part is done. But before you go and write any logical part of the application, let's see how it looks. So I'm just going to press run. It will come up, and in your assessment as well, you need to show me that your app's running at least. It's coming up. So in your assessment, you could probably just run your app randomly at first, so your device is online, so you don't have to wait at the end. If your device, it takes time for it to come online first, and you can just re-render it easily. So in your assessment, just start your devices as soon as you start your quiz. Cool, so it's coming up. So sweet, it looks the way it's supposed to. And I'm able to input stuff here. And if I press on calculate, yeah, obviously it doesn't work because we haven't configured the logical part. So I'm going to stop it. And I will probably even close it. I'll just minimize it. Cool. So now let's go inside main activity.java where we do all the rest of the stuff. So follow the algorithm, right? So you need to initialize all of them. So you will initialize it just under app compare activity. You have edit text. Just hit enter and it will import on top. See, it imported edit text by itself. How many edit text do we have? 2, right? One will be mass another will be acceleration. Let's leave it like that. And I need a button that would be calculate or something like that. And if it shows red, just hover over it and press on import. It will import your class for you. I'm very bad with spellings. Calculate. And we also have a text view, right? Text view, second one. So you need to choose whatever you want. Hit enter, it imports on top. You can see it has been imported. And result could be our text view. Done, the first part of the app is done. We have initialized all of the views that we want. Now, we want to go inside our on create. So whenever it has been created, we will assign the values. So if you were to assign the values here, it would not work because your activity hasn't even been created. So no views have been created. So let's go here and as comment assigning the values, right? Cool. So now let's assign the values to whatever we initialized. So mass equals to something. You will find view by ID. That's a method that's already pre-built. Cool. And where are you looking for? Which file are you looking for? Resources file. r.id. There should be mass, right? Mass. So that's the first thing. Second is the acceleration that we need. We will again use find views by ID. r.id. Acceleration. Done. Two of them we have imported. We again need to import the button, right? So what's the name of our button? Calculate. Calculate and find calculate. Find view by ID r.id. Result, right? So that's the ID we have defined. Sorry, calculate is the button. Sorry. So calculate is the button, so that's why there was a red thing. Because you can only see you have defined calculate to be a button, so you can't cast anything inside calculate. It needs to be a button. Now text view is result, right? We define result. Let's find view by ID. r.id.result, I guess. Cool. So second part of the algorithm is also done. We have assigned all of the values. Now, whenever you press on the button, something has to happen. When you press on the button, you will use this. You will calculate this and set the text back, right? What's our button? Calculate is a button, right? So take calculate, and you will set on click listener. Like I said before, type it yourself, listener, listener, and then you will cast it into a new view, right? So first thing, and it will open up a code for you. You don't need to write extra stuff. If you import another thing, you would need to write it yourself. So whenever the button is clicked, see, so when this calculate button is clicked, this function will be fired. So on click, something will happen. And whenever you import this, you need to give it a semicolon at the bottom. It usually doesn't work. Now what do we need to do? Again, the same thing. I'm reiterating this thing for like 3 weeks. Whatever you enter is in the form of text. You need to change that to integer. Then only you can multiply. You can't multiply text, right? So what would be B into A? I mean, nothing, right? So we wouldn't know. Like, we can't multiply strings. So we need to change them into integers. So let's define a new integer. Integer is like n1. So that would probably be mass. So we need, where is the mass being stored? Inside mass, right? So take mass and dot get text and change it to string. Right, so they were entering in the form of text. So mass is in text, so we are getting the text from mass and then changing it to string and assigning it to another variable, whatever. Now if you were to hover over it, it will tell you that, hey, this is, you have given us a string, but it needs to be an integer. So wrap it using integer. We need another integer, that is n2. This will be the acceleration. Get the text for acceleration, change it to string. Again, that needs to be an integer, so wrap it using integer. Done. So you now have mass and now you have acceleration, both of them. Now let's calculate the force. Force would be n1 into n2, right? That's it. Force is done. Now you need to set the text back. Cool. So take the text view, which is result, then set text, and then you need to change it back to string, right? Because now it's in the form of integer. If you leave it as an integer, your app would crash. String. So you are using this method string, then the value of force. So you have a string called, you have an integer called force. You are changing that value into string and setting it back to the text. So that's basically it. So what we did was we followed this algorithm. We initialized all of our views. We casted those views inside whatever we defined. Then after the button was clicked, something has to happen. And in our case, we need to change the inputs into integer. Then we multiply it, then we set it back. So when you press on the button, these are the things that are happening. You're changing it into the string. Why? Because obviously it's coming in the form of text. You need to change it. Then you can't send it back as it is. That's the reason why you're setting it back to the string. And that's it, right? So hopefully this should run. Let's press on run your app. See, since we ran our app before, it didn't take a lot of time to load. So if you were to write both a logical and UI part, then run it like at the end of your quiz, then it might not even run. Like it might take some time. So let's see, if the mass is 1000 kg and the acceleration is 2 meters per second, yeah, so your force is 2000 Newton. But it doesn't make a lot of sense, so let's go and change it here, right? Force in metrics Newton is, right, so I just changed it a little bit. Or we can just write force equals to something like that. Rerun your app. So now it doesn't take any time. So if you have a mass of 10 kilo accelerating at the speed of 10 meters per second, the force is 1000 Newton. Right, so you could just customize your output any way you want. So this is basically how you would build your first app. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a second app again. I'll just refactor this and build it as second app. I will probably save the recording.